All right, Heart of the Matter. Thanks everyone for joining me again for another episode this week. Please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as our podcast channels on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And click that 5-star rating. It helps the algorithm, help us fight it here on Heart of the Matter. And we got a great one today for everyone as the guys from Patriarchs in Black are here as the band's annual releases continue with a full-length covers album titled Completely Covered in Black. We got Dan, Lorenzo, Johnny Kelly joining me today. Great to see you guys again. Fellas, I recall a few years ago you put out the covers EP Covered in Black. Now we got Completely Covered in Black. So I guess kick us off and start us off with telling the viewers about about the record going from Covered in Black to Completely Covered in Black. Let's hear about that.
Well, we released 4 original albums, as you know, and Johnny and I love doing covers, so we were approached by some label who wanted to put out a cover CD. They didn't put it out on vinyl, and at that time we didn't have as many covers as we do now. But this is kind of just like the full version of that, minus there's a couple songs like I got a copy here. Rock Bottom has never come out on vinyl. So that was on Covered in Black, but Completely Covered in Black has Super Czar, which we never released before. That was the newest cover we've done. Strange Ways, Destroyer, Snowblind with Rob Dukes, Dragon Attack with Mark Sunshine, The Ocean, which is pretty much brand new with Mark Sunshine, Almost Human with Kyle Thomas from Mixorder, Games Without Frontiers with, again, Sunshine, and there's some Motorhead and Kiss covers, just a lot of songs that Johnny and I love growing up listening to.
Totally. Yeah, the one that stands out, obviously, like you said, you got all these covers from, obviously all the classic bands like Sabbath, Kiss, Zeppelin, and so forth, Queen. But yeah, the one that sticks out, and I know it was on the EP, Covered in Black, was the Peter Gabriel one, Games Without Frontiers. I love that song, always have. Just talk about the decision to kind of go with that one, since it's a bit of a contrast, I know, than compared to the other classic rock and metal bands.
I'm always in my truck living in Dallas. You have to drive everywhere, so I always have the radio on, and I'm always so there's all kinds of stuff always coming across the radio, and that song came across one day while I was driving. I was like, you know what? I said that would make a cool song to cover. So then I suggested it to Dan, and then it starts doing its thing. We brought Sal Iavara in on that to play bass, and then of course Mark Sunshine does what Mark Sunshine does, and he hit it out of the park.
Yeah, no, he does. I mean, Mark. I think I've been saying this a couple of times. I interviewed you guys. He's definitely one of those guys out there. I'm surprised he really isn't a bigger vocalist. Because he can. I mean, I've seen him live with You Need It a couple of times, and he's quite the front man.
Yeah, he's pretty. I mean, I've never seen him perform live, but what the things that he does with his voice is pretty insane.
Yeah,
and
it's so unique.
In the early '90s, he's opened up for nonfiction. He had a band called Systematic, not the Systematic who ended up getting somewhat popular, but I always thought he was interesting. I'll say that. And then, like after Johnny and we released Reach for the Scars, my old nonfiction drummer, Mike Christie's like, have you heard Sunshine sing recently? I said, I haven't heard him sing in like 30 years. I didn't know he did anything. And he sent me one song, and I'm like, holy shit. So there's actually a backstory to this. Johnny and I were doing the Immigrant song. This is the only time this has ever happened. We had one guy try it out, pretty well-known guy. We're like, Another guy tried it out. We're like, another guy tried it. We're like, So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to throw a Sunshine Immigrant song just to say I tried, I was not expecting that much. And now he's like, I've told you, that's my wife's favorite singer.
Yeah. No, he's phenomenal. And we're going to talk about one thing. I mean, obviously, the other thing that stands out to me is, the first track of the album, Super Czar. You said a cover of Sabbath Super Czar, which is, of course, off of, the heralded LP Sabotage. Now, me personally, if I was thinking of doing a Sabbath cover, I think Super Czar might be one of the last ones I would ever think about doing. I mean, obviously, it's more of it's an instrumental. It's more of a sort of an interlude, if anything. And I know you guys, obviously, like you said, you covered Snowblind, so you do have a classic, Sabbath track on there as well. But I'm pretty certain you guys got to be the first ones to ever cover that track. I
don't know. I
know.
haven't looked that up. I'm going to look that up right now.
Okay, here we go.
You know how it happened, sort of? From my memory, this is how it happened. Is on the previous album on Home, we did a song called Where You Think You're Going that I thought was finished, and then we later added DMC because Johnny Kelly wanted more vocals on it. But I had in my head an opera singer, and everybody's like, "Oh, where'd you sample that from?" I'm like, "No, some like dude I played basketball with." They're like, "What about the girl?" I'm like, "No, she actually lives in my town. My wife and I saw her singing at the farmers market." So after we did that, like Johnny and I were talking about the song Where You Think You're Going, and Johnny said something like, Black Sabbath Superstar. I'm like, oh man, I got to listen to that song. He was saying something about female vocals, and I listened to it. I have goosebumps. I'm like, this song is freaking me out. It's so good. I'm like, what a stupid, great idea it would be to cover that song,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of does, I guess, fit and align with you guys musically a bit because you guys have, like you said, been experimenting on the records with, like you said, the female vocals, the operatic and choir type of vocals that's on the track, and of course with the string arrangement. So I guess it kind of fits a little bit with really, what you guys have been kind of exploring with the last couple albums. So I guess it kind of does go hand in hand.
With our song, I definitely picked up on that vibe, and it felt like it was like the first thing I referred to when I heard it. It was like, oh, it kind of sounds like, because if something always sounds like something else, and it was like, oh, it kind of has that vibe. And then we were talking about the song. I was like, well, why don't we cover that? Pretty sure nobody else has covered it. I'm looking here now, and I'm not really seeing anything.
And what's so funny, Matt, is I went to go see Black Label Society Friday night, and they came at the intro tape to Black Label with Superstar, and I'm like, I am so glad we covered this song because it's magical. It's a great opener. Obviously, it's a great way to open the album.
They're opening with that because it's Zach Sabbath. It's a Zach Sabbath tribute band, and since Sabotage was released in 1975, that's been Sabbath's intro.
But not when they got back together, right? Like
when we toured with them,
I saw them
every time I've gone to see them.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, me and Gina don't remember that. That's funny.
It's their intro,
Interesting, very, very interesting. Now, with the vocalist who made the appearance on or two on the record. One of the things I really like, and and it's really not always, but most of the time when bands do covers, is I like when they don't necessarily do sort of a carbon copy of the original, which is kind of good. And I like when vocalists sort of add their own little twist or flavor to it, which kind of seems to be the case here on the record. When you guys send these songs over to the respective vocalists, I mean, did they have sort of, is it just like here, we're doing this and do your thing on it? Do they have that freedom to attack it how they want, or is there a certain way you guys want them to do it?
Well, we pay these guys a lot of money when so they got to do exactly what we want, right, Johnny?
Mark, Sunshine does his own thing. Just leave him alone, let him do his thing, and I trust him.
We let them do whatever they want,
I mean, everybody, especially with cover songs, you have, creative license to put your own spin on it somehow. I do it. I try to put my own twist on it and what I'm doing. And it kind of changes a little bit of the song, changes it up a little bit. I didn't, the approach with the cover songs is unique with what everyone brought, but it's still, to me, it still kept the essence of what the song originally was. It doesn't strike me as being too derivative.
No,
it's pretty easy to pick up on it right away when you hear the song. If you're familiar with the original version.
And Matt, you asked about Games with Frontiers. I know I have some metalhead friends who literally only listen to metal, but Johnny and I, we grew up sort of the same age, and like I listen to hip hop all day. Johnny listens, like he suggested a new song. I was like, what's the song, Johnny? Heat Wave,
The Groove Line.
Like, so, like,
from Heat Wave, yeah.
You know, I'm sure there's a lot of metalheads who'd be like, "What the hell? Why?" Like, I love it, you know. So that's going to be something we're going to do in the future. Like, so we don't have any constraints of let's just do Motorhead covers or just Sabbath. They're like, we both like lots of different music, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, I like taking stuff from like different genres a little bit and kind of like mixing it up and kind of make it a little more. I guess, you know, with us, it's metal. You know, we're a metal band. But you know, like we could take something, say like a contemporary pop song from like the 70s or something, kind of like what Typo used to do, covering you know, Summer Breeze and Cinnamon Girl, and you kind of put your own twist on it, and it gives it a different. It gives it our identity.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Now, have you guys ever had to, just going back to the vocalist thing real quick, was there a time where you had to like send a track back to one of them saying like, can you maybe change something up here or there, or no?
Yeah, we did that on Immigrant Song. We had 3 different, maybe even 4 different singers sang Immigrant
Song.
It
was 4. Yeah, 4 different people sang on the song.
4 different singers on that one. I don't know if anything else. Actually, we had a different singer, really nice guy, good singer, but gets paid to be a singer. We had him try and do Destroyer, the Twisted Sister song, and it sounded a little almost like a Broadway thing, and it didn't really work for us. I kind of forgot about that until just now, and that's before we knew Kyle and hooked up with Kyle. So he's done a couple.
Now that we're a few records in, doing it this way, we kind of have a good idea when we come up with a song and be like, this is a good song for Mark, or this is a good song for Carl, or Kyle from Exhorter, you know, doing the songs that he did. And you know, now that we have like this stable of vocalists, you could pick up on it intuitively, where it's like, yeah, he'd be great for this one. This is a good Mark song. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was just going to say that, you know, the approach that you guys are using, like I said, is, and it seems, like I said, to be really successful. Like you said, you've got a good sort of cast or roster now of vocalists, probably about 7 or 8 of these guys.
Yeah, there's a number of them. Even Dewey Bragg from Kill Devil Hill. I'd love to get him on more stuff. He's hard to get a hold of.
Yeah. And I'm sure, like you said, it's making it easier. Like you said, because I think I remember, Dan, you telling me that it used to be like, you know, you just have an idea and say, I'm going to give this song to so-and-so. But now that these guys have all been singing on these records, you know, and like you said, you got 5 or 6 records in the bag now.
No, we just got a new guy. the last single, Left Behind.
Last single.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Danny, calls himself Danny Maryland on Instagram, Daniel Soren from 60 Watt Shaman. But what you also just reminded me is when we were about to release Home, I had given Carl Agell 2 songs, and he finished the one song, which I mean, I always love what he does with us. But then we had another song that became Storm King, and Carl's like, I'm not going to finish it by next week. It's just not going to happen. I'm like, shit, I want that song in the record. So I give it to this guy named Joe Ferrara, who, believe it or not, he goes to like old age homes and sings for Frank Sinatra for a living and stuff like that.
Wow.
And he was in a cover band, and my friends from the Amish Outlaws tell me about him. So I give it to Joe on a Sunday night. I didn't even know the guy. And Monday he sends me Storm King. I'm like, you're kidding me, dude. Like, where are you from, you know? And now he wants to actually sing one of the songs I'm going to go record tomorrow night. We've never done an Aerosmith cover, and the label actually asked us. I was watching an interview with Johnny from last week, and Johnny kind of surprised me because I'm really big on Aerosmith Draw the Line album, and I feel like a lot of people, that's not one of their favorites. And I heard Johnny say that. I'm like, oh, God, please. I've been wanting to cover one of these songs for 40 years. So I'm going in tomorrow night. And I told the guy, Joe, I said, hey, if we did this, could you cover it? He's like, could I sing it like the David Bowie style? I'm like, I don't know, maybe. So it's like, you know, if we hate it, we won't release it. But it's like, why not? You know, try it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, do you guys
we'll do a Bowie song on the next record? I love Bowie. So I love Bowie. So that's an easy one for me to say yes.
All the young dudes. I just don't want to do all the young dudes.
No, I wouldn't want to do that.
That's been done, right? That's been done a bunch of
Yeah.
times. I would think that's so right. But yeah, so I mean, with the vocalist, is it like you said, you've got, like you said, a whole cast of them now, and you just kind of alluded to that, the fact that now I guess you could sit there and say, this sounds like you said, like a Kyle song or a Carl
Yeah.
song. So that is something that you guys together just talk about that and say, like, do you agree on that? Do one of you guys say, hey, maybe we should give it to so and so?
Sometimes I just send it to somebody, and Johnny would be like, that guy's not working for me, or just it's weird. We've been like pretty lucky. I would say like 95% of the times we get things back, we're probably pleasantly surprised. I remember
we're lucky that we're working with good singers.
I'll never forget that. I sent the first time I saw this guy on Instagram, and I thought it was Paul Stanley, and his hair was on fire. And then he kept playing. And then I'm looking, and it's like, oh, wait, that's not Paul Stanley. It's some guy named Bobby Jensen. So I asked Bobby if he would sing on, I think I Stole Your Love, right? And I never know what Johnny's going to think sometimes. So I said, I Stole Your Love, and I call him, and Johnny's laughing. And I'm like, is it that bad? Like, I thought it was really good. Why are you laughing so much? He's like, it's perfect. It's like, it was just a shot in the dark. Like,
the guy does a really good Paul Stanley.
Really good.
So I know for me, like, you just have to laugh about it. And I get a kick out of it. I get a kick out of doing covers. It's a lot of fun. It's like being a teenager again, like playing in your first bands and stuff.
That's the guy I didn't mention again. So his name is Bobby Jensen, and he's doing his own thing in Minneapolis. And I remember the same thing. I sent Johnny Rock Bottom, and Johnny just starts laughing like, I don't know what you're laughing about. It's like, I'm serious about this. He's like, it's just so funny. It sounds like we're jamming with Paul Stanley,
Nice.
And also, like, we keep on bringing up all these singers. John Costco.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, great. Like you said, you guys have a great roster of singers. You really do.
And we have really good bass players too. We're really fortunate in that aspect as well. Everyone that's played on the record, everything that they bring is cool. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. No doubt. Now with Daniel from 60 Watt Shaman, what I know, Dan, I think I read this, so then you've been trying, I guess, to get him right for years to work with you guys, right? I mean, how did you get a hold of him finally? What is it really about him that you wanted to work with him so bad? I mean, is it just just the style? And
I used to work for a magazine, and you get advanced copies of albums, on a little cassette back then. And I remember getting an album from 60 Watt Shaman, and the first song was not Hell or High Water, but maybe Death by High Water. And I put on the first verse, and I'm like, okay, this is probably one of my favorite singers of all time. And I can't get a hold of the guy. Like, the same thing honestly happened with Carl, because Carl's name is in Carl Miguel on Instagram, and I was never been on Facebook. Like, sometimes we have to track people down. Like, Carl took a long time. Like, he's kind of back out in the scene now, and he kind of credits Patriarchs in Black. Like, he's out there now. But when we first reached out to him, he was not an easy guy to get a hold of, And it was this journalist who was a big fan of my music, who has since disappeared, who I've thanked him many times when we did the press for the first album. I've never heard back from the guy. I don't even know what happened to him, but like, he got me Carl's email and phone number, and then he just disappeared again. But so it's been like a lot of weird coincidences, like a lot of luck, a lot of just good timing sometimes, like, I don't know. It's a lot of times I'm always like, wow, that really worked out well. And I thought like with the songs Storm King, I'm like, this is not going to be on the album. There's no singing to it. It sucks because Johnny Araya played bass on. He's all psyched to be on it. And then last second, somebody does something that worked out really good,
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt, man. So, well, you need that, right? You need a look for that kind of stuff, right? I mean, it's just, Now, is Daniel, is he going to be, you think, one of the next guy on your roster you're going to, want to use again on the next record, too?
We actually have an up-tempo song that when I first wrote it, I wrote it on the bass, and I said to Johnny, I'm like, Johnny, is this not right for us? And Johnny's like, why not? I'm like, oh, cool. So I finished the song, and it was tentatively titled Kiss. Doesn't sound anything like Kiss. It's just kind of like an up-tempo.
It sounds a lot like Kiss.
Does it? Okay. All right.
It sounds a lot like Kiss.
All right. So Daniel's going to sing that one. He told me a month ago he'll have it to me tomorrow, and he told me 3 weeks ago I'll hear it tomorrow. So these singers, I don't know, like they don't usually deliver the song when they say they're going to do it, but that's okay. It's not like there's no big rush and nobody's banging down the door for the next Patriarchs and Black original album. Like the record label hasn't even told me yet when we can release it. I've asked them like 3 times, and we don't know when. We don't know.
Now there's a label because you guys do put out a record. I mean, I know this record is on No Life to Metal, so it's on a different, not on Metalville.
Right.
But are they? I mean, just considering because of just the way the industry is these days, are they sort of like, hey, kind of slow it down? Like, one album, is that too like much for them, or they are like that? Okay, I was gonna say,
he told me, I said, like we did a song called "I'm Coming Home," and it was just an extra song from Home album, and it was this guy Frankie Diaz, another guy, and we released it digitally on Metalville, and then we were going to put out the cover album, and I told No Life Till Metal, hey, we got this song called "I'm Coming Home." It's never been released on vinyl. Like I like having the songs on vinyl. Like I really want to get Rock Bottom on vinyl because I love that cover. But Metalville's like, no, if you don't mind, don't give them that song. I'm like, all right, I won't. So it's like we're just working with them. Like they're like, yeah, it's cool if you put out a cover album. Just do me a favor. Don't put "I'm Coming Home" on there. Don't put like "Left Behind." I think we could have put "Left Behind" on there, but they're like, no, don't do that. We want that on your next record. So, like we're discussing with them. Is it cool with you if we do this? And like that.
Now, when you guys decide to put out the single, because it's like I said, I mean, lots of times I know people are putting, a lot of bands, artists, they're putting out singles now. I think what you guys are doing is smart because you're putting out singles and full length. Some just want to put out just singles; they're done with the whole album, full length album type of thing. But is there any approach or strategy you guys are using with the singles? Since you put out a new record every year, is it more of like just to keep the Patriarchs and Black name out there consistently with a new single, new video, so people don't forget, because of the short attention spans everyone's got these days? Is that kind of the idea of that?
Because like Metalville tells me, hey, we can't put out 2 records a year, but then they also tell me, oh, once you release a new album, your numbers die on Spotify after 3 months. So I'm like, well, what if we put out an original single? They're like, oh yeah, that's good then. So they're like, sometimes they contradict themselves a little bit. Like they're like, keep saying, yeah, let's keep putting out singles, but not too many singles. Like, so I don't know. Everybody has different ideas as to what works. And obviously I sure as hell don't know what works.
I think a lot of what's going on, people are still trying to figure out how to make things work in this industry now, especially with small labels. Small labels, very limited budgets and stuff, and really, of course, the whole thing as far as like developing bands, building a fan base. We can't tour, so that's one way of building a fan base that's not available to us. So it's kind of more like the approach of like with social media, content
over everything,
and our content is singles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just from my perspective, just an outside perspective, I'll say I think that the approach you guys have been taking since the first record, since Reach for the Scars, I know it's taken this long, 4 or 5 albums, whatever of original music, but I do sense and even observe that you guys are starting to gain steam, or have been, I should say, steadily gaining steam. I mean, I was just in over the summer. Last summer I was at Ripple Fest in Austin, Texas, there, and I saw, I think at least 2, I think 3. I saw 3 people with Patriarchs and Black shirts on. So I mean, that to me is
it's Dan.
I know Dan sending them away because I got one, obviously.
Dan sends them to everybody.
Dude, I came home from Key West on my father's grave. I had to write a check or PayPal, $300 this week to Season of Mist to get everybody who I met in Key West free shirts. And
wow.
This is I got to stop doing this because I'm really laying out a lot of money. But when you do see it, there's a little bill. Like this morning I wake up and these 7 Asian guys who own a Chinese restaurant in Tokyo, and they're singing "Hotter Than Hell," and they're holding our album, and it's like, maybe I should lay out another couple $100.
Gotta send him a shirt.
Yeah. So yeah,
but I think it's working, like you said, because it kind of goes hand in hand, like you're saying, with the content over everything, and that means, I mean, that's just not obviously social media or you put music out, but yeah, it's about just it's really the branding of it. What you're doing is working in the brand of the band, and the fact that there are people out there, even if you gave it to them and they're wearing the shirt, so it's supported. People are seeing the logo, they're seeing the brand. So I think it's smart, and I think it's really starting to, even just people I talk to now, they know who Patriarchs and Black is. It's not like, oh, who's that anymore? And it does take, right? They always say these days, it's
It's Dan posting stickers in bathrooms all across the country.
and postcards. Every waitress gets a postcard.
And then Dan sends me a picture of the sticker on the wall on a urinal in Netherlands.
Yeah, I love guerrilla marketing, Matt, and I'm glad to hear you actually say that you saw some people, because it's, every week I'm like I mean, for example, I like to go to Massage Envy. I would love to go to Massage Envy every week, but it's $200. So instead of getting a massage, I spend $200 on promotion. I don't know if it was working or not, or but that's just what I've been doing for the last few years.
And then when he's at the spa getting the massage finally, then he puts a whole bunch of stickers on the bathroom.
In the massage parlor.
He leaves a bunch of the postcards next to the business cards for the spa. And then he sends the masseuse a shirt.
No, I don't have a masseuse anymore, so I can't afford it. And I'm out sending everybody your shirts, and
give her a shirt instead of tipping her. That's what you do.
Yeah, that'll go over real big.
Because that's what every masseuse wants. They want a shirt. They want a Patriarchs and Black shirt, not a tip.
Well, I mean, the last time I spoke to you guys, I think it was when Visioning was coming out. So I didn't get a chance to chat with you guys about Home. Obviously that came out last summer. So I just want to talk a little bit about that. I mean, Home is definitely, I feel like, really more along the lines, obviously, I'm sure people have told you, really of what you guys are known for with your previous bands, Typo and Vessel Light specifically. More of, like I said, a slower, doom tempo type of dynamic on the record, rather than a lot of the mid-tempo stuff I know that you guys have been done over the previous albums. I think Dan, you sent me an interview. I think that you did last year. You mentioned that, I know that you also have, like you said, just in terms of just getting older and a lot of wear and tear on your wrists and hands and so forth. Did that have anything to do with it, or is it really just like you just kind of wanted to kind of get back to what you guys were known for previously in your previous bands?
I mean, when I was younger, I could play along with Kill 'Em All, not perfectly, but I could definitely fake my way. I couldn't do that anymore. But I also changed, back when I was, when I moved out, when my mom kicked me out of my house in 82, 83, whatever it was, I was into Slayer and Exodus, and then Hades was, pretty, I guess, a thrash band. And I just deeply fell out of love with that style of music. Like, I feel like it's just, you can't do any more with it. It's been done already. And I feel like most of the thrash bands, it's like, yeah, I've heard you do it that already like 75 times. So I don't know, man. And maybe they could say the same thing about me with Doom, that all the Doom songs sound the same. But it's just, if I'm hanging out, I hear a riff on my head. It's almost never a fast riff. Although, you got that one song for the next album that, there's some more up-tempo stuff on our next record. It will be, if we're lucky enough to put it out. And, but it's just like, I can write a song that I thought Johnny would not like. Like I said, that song that he says sounds like Kiss. So I write a lot of stuff, and sometimes I'll give it to DMC and I say, hey, is this for me and you? He's like, yeah, that's perfect. But that's like, I was a little surprised when I sent that, bass line to Johnny, and I thought he'd be like, no, that's not right for us. But I don't know, we can kind of do whatever we want. So for the most part, like I think when Johnny and I first get together, he probably forgets there was a song maybe called G Sharp that was sort of a thrash song, and it just didn't really work. It wasn't really, it was definitely up tempo, and it quickly got forgotten, but we don't have any constraints, nobody telling us, oh, you can't do any fast songs, or I just don't really write like that anymore, honestly,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, one of the ones, the track, it was one of the singles you put out, Celestial Yard. That was very different as well. Which is, and it's a surprise. That's what's great about, I think, you guys' records. There's always like a surprise or two or whatever on those. That's attached sort of to the Patriarchs and back name, which to me, I mean, I guess it's a good thing when I say surprise. That one, yeah, because it was acoustic. I remember watching the video, going, okay, and it just. I was expected to maybe kick in at any point. It was just a nice, really, really awesome, cool acoustic track, which I think you said it was like the most beautiful song you've ever been involved with.
I thought it's one of my favorite songs I've ever been involved with. Not really because what me or Johnny did, but Mark Sunshine, the lyrics, and when he told me what they're about, and when you read the lyrics and the melody line and the sound of his voice, there's one note that makes me and Johnny crazy. That we didn't like, but you gotta let Mark do his thing,
Mm-hmm. Now, was that kind of a throw you for a loop, Johnny? I mean, when he throws you these things, are you sometimes like, "What is this?" Or I mean, do you ever throw anything back and say, "You know what, I'm not interested in this"? Or
there's been a couple of things where it was like I wasn't really feeling it, and but I know for me, I try to see the big picture in whatever it is we're doing, and sometimes that's hard, so I just try to keep plugging away at it until I am able to see that a little bit better.
Okay.
So I won't just it's not common for me to just shoot something down.
Got it.
After one listen, Dan will send me something and it'd be like, no, don't like it. Use it for something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it has happened, but not over the past 5 records. It really hasn't happened all that much.
Okay.
It
now
just
I know
makes it harder for me to work because then
I hear
you because I have to really try to think differently instead of going for something that's in my comfort zone.
I got you. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Dan, I know he said in an interview he did that you were pretty much, you're the perfect partner because, for one, you're very positive, and when you collaborate, and two, you guys it seems like you have a very similar work ethic where you like to get things done and pretty expeditiously at that.
Dan's way more impatient than I am.
Okay.
And I don't have any patience, but he's way more impatient than I am.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, because you obviously, you're out and touring a lot. Where Dan's, he's, more. He's not touring. Is there any time when you're sitting there and this guy's sending you songs where you're like, "Geez, man, like, give me a break. Like, this is too much."
No, it's no, not at all. Actually, I mean, I'm glad to see that when stuff comes in, there's just times in my schedule is just like it's going to have to wait.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And even with having to sometimes make time, we're still pretty active. Still putting out a lot of stuff. So slow for us is like, oh, it's going to have to wait a week or 2 weeks. That's slow.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what I like about it. I like that it keeps me moving.
Johnny,
there's always something going on.
Johnny, I don't know if you remember this, but maybe 2 or 3 months ago or something around that, like I was telling Johnny, I said, we could actually, there's this label that they're not as big, but they would give us more money as opposed to Metalville, which, I got to lay out money for like the singers, like the female vocalist. She's just a girl who's my town. I got to give her money, or the guy who plays violin. And I said, Johnny, because I'm trying to figure out, like, is Johnny like me? Like, I said, Johnny, what makes you happiest about this project? Like, we both love doing covers. And Johnny said, constant motion. And then I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Let's just fucking release Left Behind as a single. Fuck it. So what if it's not going to be on vinyl for a year? Like, just do it. Just put shit out. What's going to happen? Like, the world's we're not going to have World War III because we put out a song that's not going to be on vinyl for maybe a year or whatever.
It's not going to ruin our record cycle.
Sure.
The radio campaign is going to be compromised if we start putting out too many singles.
Oh man. Well, I mean, that's what it is, right? Because these days it's, I mean, like you just alluded to, Dan, I mean, you got to cover the cost of pretty much mostly everything. And it's not even, I mean, that includes, like I said, I'm sure any kind of PR, if you want to do any, obviously it's.
The label does have a publicist. They actually hire a radio guy and a publicist, and they do a lot.
Cool.
It's just that when you're trying to get a baby band off the ground, there's like,
That's a lot now.
Yeah.
To have them contribute to get a radio person, get a publicist, and actually do set up a record.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it costs money. It's not like Metalville has, a staff of, in-house publicists and radio. Like for years with Type O, we had all that built in. It was all built in with Roadrunner. They had all that. They had an art department. Anything, every aspect of making the record, they had something in-house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even the merch company too, but that's another story.
And Blue Grape thing, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it was all in-house and it all worked together. And I mean, of course,
I worked there for a little bit. Yeah.
It got taken out of our, like it was recoupable, at least like, part of it. And so now it's like the business model is so weird, and it's really hard for me to understand it because I'm still trying to come to terms with a label will not be really interested in you unless you have X amount of plays on Spotify.
Yeah.
Now, Spotify is basically, subscriber service that we don't really see any money from. However, your popularity plays a part in your record deal.
Yep. I know.
Meanwhile, I'm thinking it should be the other way around, where the record deal would help you get more plays on Spotify. It's
all backwards.
Yeah.
I
really don't understand it.
Well,
And so now, like with Metalville, like Dan said, they did kick in some money. They came up with some money for a publicist, and we did have a radio person for the whatever the release of the record, leading up to the release and stuff, and it does. I mean, ultimately, it helps. Like there are still certain aspects of the old way of doing things that are still important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you guys ever get? I mean, like a lot of, I'm sure you do at times, but I mean, when you're doing this, and if you're not, like I said, if you're not seeing as much either return on investment because, like you said, you get no money from Spotify and all the streaming services. Is it ever like you're sitting there going, why am I still doing this?
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'm sure, because but at the same time, I'm sure you put so much now. You got 6 records out where it's like, well, it took all that to get to this now, so why stop now? But at the same time, it's got to be frustrating as all hell knowing. But do we still just keep incrementally getting bigger and bigger? Or I mean, talk I guess a little bit about that, about just being jaded and just the industry itself right now, just because there's no end in sight of it.
At least as far as me, like this is a labor of love, and I put money into it. But then every day, or almost not every day, a lot of days I get a DM on Instagram and people like, why are you not huge? I just heard this song with this. And I'm like, we got 3 other records. They're like, you do? Like, oh my God. So it's like, there's also a war of attrition because every year there's less record stores, and there's more bands. But then it also does seem in a little weird way, like we're slowly building some people that are really, really into us. I mean, there's this guy who writes me from Argentina. He's going to get a Patriarchs in Black tattoo. I'm like, I've never been in a band where somebody got one of Hades Nonfiction. As far as I know, nobody got one of those tattoos. Johnny's used to it, but it seems like there's a little bit of growth. So that's, I guess, what keeps you doing it, I guess. Plus, it's just fun. Like like, I remember when I did the Curse album with Blitz. Blitz is like, look, all I want to do is make a record that we'll be proud to listen to 10 years from now. And when I'm taking a long drive, I listen to my, Dr. Dre and stuff or whatever, but I'll put on Patriarchs in Black and say, I like the song Visioning I listened to the other day. I'm like you said, why isn't Sunshine famous? Like, this is really good stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Famous is only part of the equation of being successful.
Yeah.
If he was famous, maybe he would.
For me, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Where I would always say, you know what? If I wasn't getting paid to do this, I'd still do it anyway.
Okay.
And that's what I'm doing. I mean, of course, it cost me money. There are the expenses with having my studio and stuff, and and everything that goes along with that. But I still enjoy doing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and with a project like this, I mean, as you both obviously have been writing and recording for decades. I mean, I guess just from a musical perspective, I mean, do you enjoy the creative process? I would say more now, where you don't have to overdo and overthink things when like writing a record, compared to how it used to be when you had all those outside voices from labels and so forth, where they were kind of more intrusive. Mm-hmm. So has this been, I guess this has got to be, at least, if anything, a more enjoyable, experience and process when it comes to recording, I would think, right? Compared to then when you have a label.
To me, this is it's a little bit of a different animal because of the foundation of what it's all built on, which is playing with a whole bunch of different people. Mm-hmm. So to me, that I find that interesting. Mm-hmm. And it's different compared to everything else that I'm involved in. Mm-hmm. Where a lot of the palette is pretty big on what we're doing.
Sorry.
Yeah, that and getting to work with people that I normally wouldn't get to work with.
Mm-hmm. And for me, Matt, I'm just picturing it's 1987, and I'm unloading trucks at Macy's, and it's a Wednesday, and after I unload trucks for 8 hours, I would drive to Hades rehearsal, and my best friend in the world, Jimmy Shulman, would be like, he want me and the drummer and the guitar, like, play that riff again, play it. Like, dude, I'm like, the song's on the album. He's like, I got to work this out. It's like, I hope he doesn't listen to this part of the interview, but it's like, we'd play it 5 times in a row. And I'm like, why are you punishing me? Like, you should just be home playing along with the record. He's like, it's not the same thing. And I'm like, you're killing the love of this song for me. Like, if I have to play a song 10 times in a row, I don't want to hear it again for a few months, So it's like, that's what I love about this. Like, sometimes the bass player, like, hey, I can't figure out these notes. And I go back to a song and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot what I even played here. It's like, I read one time about this band that would, like, they recorded their whole album where, like, they'd work on a song, finish the song, record the song, work on a song. And I'm like, that is so exciting, because that's when a song is, to me, when it feels magical. Like, when the first couple of times you play it is going to have a lot more magic than the 300th time you play it. So this stuff, I don't have to play it a million times. Like, I would love to jam with Johnny in a room and they say, what do you think about this riff here, this riff? But logistically, it's not working out like that, but it's okay. I mean, it doesn't sound like that. It sounds like people just assume we're in the same room sometimes,
Yeah. No, it does.
It can be a challenge, and it's an interesting way of working where everyone is remote.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So ups and downs, but mostly I think I like it,
I kind of like it now. I'm used to, like, I have my routine of when I get in my room, and I know how to work my equipment myself. I have my own time to work on stuff. I'm not being pestered by guitar players and bass players.
Yeah, especially for a drummer, I know, right?
Yeah. I'm not getting yelled at, like, will you shut up? I'm trying to tune.
Shut up. Tune. Yeah, exactly.
You're making so much fucking noise. Shut up. I like being able to work on my own, work at my own speed, and come up with things. It adds more pieces to the process, because I'll track something and then I have to send it. Like I send it to Dan, and then I get his feedback. I'll get feedback from Dan, and then the next day I have to go back in the studio, try something different again, and so there's that. But I have the ability to just work on my own, which I like. It has its advantages and disadvantages. There is definitely something to be said for being in a room together and hashing out ideas and seeing what comes up and working off that spontaneity. That happens often. With something really cool can happen by accident and be like, wait a minute, what was that?
Yeah.
Wait, play that again. So that part is missing.
But I guess I guess the pros, like you said, one of the pros is, you're not spending so much time, I guess trying to hash out something, right? It's just you get what Dan gives you. Okay, this is what I got. I'm going to, add to it, and that's really it. So the process, like you said, is definitely faster, which I guess also explains how you guys have been able to release so much music, in such a short amount of time.
I mean, there's definitely been songs where we've taken a lot of time, where we've gone back and forth with it, and things that we would discuss, like arrangements or like I will tell Dan pretty often the song needs another part. I'm used to 10-minute songs. Dan likes 2.5 minutes. So we have to meet in the middle somewhere sometimes. And so then there's a lot of that, a lot of the back and forth that way, which if we were in a room together with everybody, some of that stuff could be hashed out or could be created and done in a matter of minutes instead of it taking days.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, so you guys have another album ready to go, correct? I mean, I think the last thing I saw was that
no second
vocals, right? That's just yeah.
I was in the studio this afternoon tracking a song.
Oh, okay.
A song that's giving me fits. I'm having a hard time with it, so I've been in there a lot working on it.
There's 10 or 11 songs that Johnny has finished. There's the guitars and the drums are done for at least 10 songs, I think. And just waiting for the singers to catch up, but the usual cast of characters, everybody has a couple songs,
Yeah. So I know
I lose track. I lose track of what we're doing. I just open up my email, grab a song, and just start working on it. And I don't even know how many songs we have finished at this point. Dan would know. Dan's more of the admin with this than I am. I get a song from Dan, I go in the studio, I work on it until it's done, and then I send it out to him and J-Rod, and then I go into my email again. All right, what's next?
So I read an interview I know you did where you mentioned that you were consciously trying to no longer write anymore. So how's that working out? Because I'm gonna have to, if you got another record in the can, I'm gonna have to call BS on that, man. Because I mean, unless you just had all these songs previously and you've been really just like trying to tune it down. So are you trying to tone down writing? Are you still at it? Where you at with?
I really did stop writing because I got a little bummed. Like home, we handed in home and we had to wait months for it to be released. Like way longer than I've ever waited for a record to be released. And I said, fuck it. I said, these people, they tell me I'm putting out shit too soon. I'll just go play basketball, And I didn't play guitar for a few months. And then the bad thing about that was I wrote Left Behind, but I didn't write anything when I now I'm like, okay, now I want to start writing again. And when I finished Home, I felt like I could have kept going like endlessly. I was just on such a roll. And when I stopped, purposely stopped, working on songs, stopped trying to write songs, stopped playing guitar for a few months to jump back into it. I'm like, shit, maybe my wells run dry, And then I wrote, one song. I'm like, all right, that's cool. And then a few weeks later, I wrote another. And then a week later, I wrote another. So it kind of took a little while to come back, but all these thoughts go through my head. Like, man, I'm laying out, I don't know, $1,000 a month on Patriarchs of Black, $800 a month, whatever it is. And it's so stupid fiscally. It doesn't make any sense, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
Fun with it, So I'm always going back and forth with that idea. And then I get, these nice DMs, keep doing it, where people discover one album and they want to investigate Vessel of Light or Cassius King or whatever. So, I guess that's why I keep doing it. But yeah, that goes through my mind. This, it did happen after Home was released. After we handed it in, I should say, I sat and I didn't do anything for months.
Oh wow, okay. Well, and like you said, like you were just kind of talking about before. I guess since you were able to add, 1 second, let me just switch this. Since
back.
you were able to, all right, there he is. He's back. Yeah, I guess since you were able to, like you said, you've got. I mean, it's been, like you said, 6 records, and so the fact that it is starting to kind of grasp on, I guess it's hard to drop out, right? When you feel like, okay, as long as I guess you keep advancing or whatever you want to call it, you'll probably still do it, is my assumption.
Well, bands always get more popular when they break up, say they're retired, they're never going to play again, and then they come back in 5 years. So, who the hell knows if I'll live that long? So I don't know if John will use that strategy yet, but it's still fun, and there's just enough people out there. I being honest, man, I love you. Always do it. One of my favorite interviews. Like, this is cathartic for me. I know Johnny likes doing interviews, so we appreciate the fact that there's some people who care.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you guys, like I said, and that's the thing is I know it's annoying doing all these interviews and everything, but it's kind of like you said, just flooding everything the way you guys do with doing the podcast, doing the blogs or whatever. It's just the way it is, right? That's just really the way to build an audience.
You're not annoying. I was pissed off that you didn't interview us for Home, which is one of my favorite albums.
Well, I was working on the film here, so I wasn't even doing this podcast at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's why. Yeah, I'm excused. Okay, thanks, Dan. But yeah, so anyway, man, guys, just before I let you go, again, I greatly appreciate you both being here with me today. I'd be remiss, though. I got to ask you each a question about things going on outside of Patriarchs of Black. Dan, you just brought up, before Vessel Light, Cassius King. I'm assuming that's been put to rest, right? Is this pretty much it? Or bust Patriarchs of Black?
Yeah, I mean, only because everybody moved so far away. My buddy Jimmy Shulman just got knee surgery, and I'll occasionally put out a solo song. I'm going to actually do a song with my old drummer Ron Lipnicki in a couple weeks, and I do some writing with DMC. But that's about it. I don't really do. I'm not Johnny. I'll let Johnny finish the interview and tell you the 25 bands he's in.
We gotta make this short. that'll take a long time.
Well, Johnny,
there's always something going on.
Mm-hmm. I know. Sun Don't Shine. I know you guys just dropped a. Yeah, you guys just dropped that album last week.
Yeah, it just came out. 5 days ago. Right, today's 6 days ago. Right, it came out on the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's good. It's cool that's coming out. Typo's we're working on a live record.
Okay. Very cool.
And I'm always busy with Quiet Riot. I'm leaving Thursday. I fly to Vegas. I'm playing Vegas on Friday, and then from Saturday I fly to Miami, and then we're going to be on the Monsters of Rock cruise.
Oh, very cool.
That's like 5 days, and then we get off the boat in Miami and we drive from Miami to Fort Myers for a gig in Fort Myers.
Okay.
And then I'll be home on the 18th, and then I think I have a weekend off.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I had the first 2 months off of the year, so I'm really not complaining. Glad that we're playing again, and the summer it's going to be a really busy summer. A lot of shows coming up.
I know when I talked to you last, and Kenny as well, you both said the same thing. I know you've been getting inundated with if there's going to be any sort of celebratory typo show or anything, but I know it constitutes having to have Josh. Any possible Little movement on that or no?
No, there hasn't been any. There hasn't been
Okay.
anything updated since the last time we talked.
Mhm.
Typo negative is a slow moving mammal. It
Uh,
is, and I've learned to never say never,
sure.
but there hasn't been any talk or anything. Really, what's been going
Mhm.
on is that people had started reaching out to us, asking us if we'd be interested in doing something. Booking agents and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
managers and but we haven't gotten to a point yet where we're really like seriously considering doing something. I mean, I would like to do something, of course.
Mhm.
It would be nice to do something to celebrate Peter, celebrate the band's music. It seems now there's a whole other generation of typo negative fans.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's a lot of young people. I mean, I feel so old saying that, but they're young.
Yeah.
But a lot of young people are discovering the band,
Totally.
and
Mhm.
and it would be nice to do something, some kind of show to celebrate it. You know,
Mhm.
but the the who's, the hows, the whys, and the wheres, we're not even close to talking about it.
Got it. I know because you said.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably, the name's probably is just as big, if not bigger, now than it ever was. I
It
mean,
seems to
from
be pretty. It seems to be pretty popular now compared to when we were
Mhm.
active.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
There's a lot of cool. I know. I got my buddy for Christmas. I got him one of the typo negative coffee IV bag things. You
I
know.
just got one of those
Oh,
recently.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a
Pretty
couple of
cool
weeks
looking
ago.
that thing.
And I was
Yeah.
like, what is this? It's like, oh shit, it's coffee.
I know. Yeah. I don't know how the coffee tastes, but the packaging is pretty. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty clever.
Uh,
Yeah, that was that
yeah.
was that was some cool packaging. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
No.
cool. Yeah, totally
No
caught me by
doubt.
surprise. Yeah.
Nice.
Like we
Well,
said,
everyone, go ahead.
I just saw. Check this out. I saw it online and I sent a screenshot to my manager asking him if it was real. I thought it was AI, and it was the Dead Again record,
Hmm.
but the vinyl was liquid filled.
Oh, wow.
So it was kind of like, the only way I could describe it was like a lava lamp that was like a record.
Inside the vinyl.
And
Interesting.
yeah, and I was
Hmm.
I was like, this can't be real. It's a record. It's just you know, but
Hmm.
in fact, it was true.
Wow.
And the Nuclear Blast. They only printed 25 copies of it
Oh, damn.
because apparently it was explained to me that it's really expensive
Oh, I'm
to
sure it is.
to manufacture. So they just did it. They just did a thing of just
Mm.
25 of them. And apparently, I was told they sold for like something ridiculous. They sell for like $200 a copy.
Oh, man.
So
Phew.
I'm afraid to ask how much that does cost to do that. However,
Hmm.
it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen as far as vinyl goes.
Yeah, that sounds
Because
really
it was
cool.
it
I've
was
never
a
seen
mix.
that.
It was a mixture, of course, with typo. It was a mixture of green and black liquid.
Oh, it's cool. Very
So
cool.
like when it was like it held up and moved around, and
It's moving.
the liquid was like moving it. I was like, this can't be real. That How
I,
did they
I
get that
wonder.
in there?
I know. I wonder how that looks when it's spinning. I mean, I know they.
Cool.
Sometimes they got these like black lights they put on those things, and it kind of like lights up the whole room. I've seen certain
Yeah, I
vinyls.
haven't seen that, but apparently I guess there's a whole bunch of stuff that's going on that I'm really not aware of at all. Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. No, he has a lot of
Yeah.
cool typo merch out there these days. I see that.
Yeah. And we're trying
Um,
to figure out. I was like digging up some cassettes recently. I found a bunch of demos. This year is the 30th anniversary for October Rust.
October Rust, right? Yeah, that's
Came
right.
out 30 years ago
Wow.
this summer.
Wow.
And I found a bunch of demos from when we were working on the songs as the songs were being
Oh, wow.
developed and stuff. And I found a song that we didn't release, that
Oh,
we
really?
we recorded. Yeah, and it didn't make the record.
Oh,
Part
wow.
of the song there's a section in the song that wound up getting used on a later song on the Life Is Killing Me record.
Okay.
But at least that part, there was one part I recognized it instantly. I was like, wait a minute, that's on a different record. But I pulled out this cassette. I hadn't heard it since we demoed it.
Damn.
And
did you guys have it? Do you have any other like unreleased tracks that you guys had done, or was that the only one?
No, that's
Really?
it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was looking for and I know that I have it. I'm pretty sure I have it. I have a mix of Peter singing with the cover of Pictures of Matchstick Men, the song that we did with Ozzy for the Howard Stern soundtrack. That was a cover song that we did, and it was left over. And then when we got approached for the Howard Stern movie for the soundtrack, that was all we had. We were like, we have this, and then it was suggested to have Ozzy sing on it. So they took Peter's vocals off of it and then remixed it and all that,
Awesome.
and had Ozzy sing it. And I was just saying to myself, I'm like, I know I have to have a copy of this somewhere. So I pulled out a bunch of cassettes. I pulled out my cassette deck and started going through some of this stuff. And I was like, oh shit, it's this song.
Wow.
So
pretty cool,
so
man.
if we can get a decent transfer of it and get like a remaster or remaster it or whatever, maybe it'll be usable where we could release it on as like bonus stuff for
the
30th anniversary.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So that's
cool.
my pet project, like this week.
Nice. After you do the Pride Shirts and Black song though first, right?
Yeah. Well, I do that during the day. I go to the studio during the day, and then when I get home, I've been going through the tapes a little bit.
Oh, cool. Nice.
In between the Quiet Riot gigs and stuff.
Yeah. Sun
Time
Don't Shine
management is pretty important.
Oh yeah, I mean it has to be. Are you guys going to do anything with Sun Don't Shine in terms of is it just the record? Anything else happen after that?
I mean, we'd like to do some shows, but it's hard to get everybody locked down, particularly me and Kirk.
Sure.
Kirk is constantly on the road.
Yeah, they're touring a lot.
And he has like little pockets of availability, and the same thing with me. Like for instance, I was home the first 2 months of the year. So I'm reaching out to everybody saying, "Hey, I'm home. Let's get together. Let's do something." And like, Kirk's on tour.
Yeah.
And he was like on tour for the entire thing, the entire time I was home. So it's a lot of it is just scheduling and logistics. But we'd like to get out and do some shows.
That's cool. Is it just a project thing, or are you guys going to continue to do it, you think, with more music?
That I never know what's going to happen.
You don't know. Gotcha.
The whole thing can implode tomorrow.
True. Yeah. It's the modern day music business, right? Yeah.
That's it. The Silvertune record is just about done.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Everything got sent to Long Branch. There was one song I retracked. A song I didn't like the drums after listening. I hadn't heard it in a while, and I didn't like what was there. So then I redid the drums for that. Sent that to the engineer. They sent me back a mix. I haven't even had a chance to hear the mix yet, but everything's just about ready. Everything gets sent to the label to have it packaged and manufactured and stuff, and then eventually get a release date. So it's busy 2026, even though I'm home a lot.
Yeah, see that. You're never non-stop, Johnny. Non-stop with you. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, everyone go ahead. Check out Completely Covered in Black. Latest full length. It's out now on No Life Till Metal Records. I noticed it's not up for streaming, guys, correct? So people, if they want it, there's a couple of tracks, obviously the singles.
Not as a whole album. No, that's
Yeah.
Some of the songs have never been released digitally, so make sure you go buy the vinyl and the CD if you want everything.
The vinyl looks cool too. The orange vinyl, it looks great.
Yeah.
It reminds me of I used to have a '74 Barracuda. I had a Cuda with a 440 in it when I was younger, and it was that color orange. Yeah.
There it is, right there. Look at that. Beautiful.
So it makes me sentimental when I see it. It makes me miss that
Nice.
car. The record's cool too.
Yeah, so you hear everyone pick it up. Don't be cheap. Buy it. You know.
It's a cool record. It is. It's cool.
Yeah.
It came out really well, and everyone that played on it did a great job. Even got my brother on it. My brother did a couple of the solos on the.
He
on the
did
Kiss
some more,
songs.
right?
Yeah, he
Nice.
played the solo on Destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
What Kiss songs are on the record that he played on?
Hotter Than
Hell.
Better than hell.
Yeah.
So
So
thank
that's cool.
you, Matt.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
Matt, explain to me. We're going to say goodbye, but it says upload recording. Stay in the studio until your recordings are uploaded. What does that mean?
Surprised that's even showing up. I don't see why that's even
Okay.
showing up. Because it's still recording,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
usually that comes out when it ends. So I'll end that here in a sec. But yeah, so what? Just quickly, where is the best place for everyone to go get the record and to keep up with the band?
Directly from No Life Till Metal or Rocks Productions or Amazon or Target. Those are the four big ones.
Target's carrying it.
has it.
Wow,
But I guess
Target. Wow.
everybody uses that. Yeah.
All
Target.
right.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah, and everyone's got a Target near them, so there's no excuses. Go buy it. No.
I don't think it's in the
excuses.
store. They probably do mail order.
Oh,
Target,
Johnny, you
like,
stop.
Well,
Go to the-
don't say that. Yeah, let them go check it out. Let them find out the hard way, right?
Yeah, no, it's
I
in the
don't want
local
that.
Target.
I don't want someone calling. No, I went to Target and they didn't have your record. What the fuck?
You know, I listened to an hour and 7 minutes of this interview to go to Target.
Yeah, you owe me a record. You should send it to me. And Dan should send me a shirt. Yeah.
Oh man.
All right.
Oh,
Johnny.
guys, appreciate it. Yeah, thanks so much for coming on, guys. Everyone, go check it out. Pick up the record.
Guys.
It's a great record. And yeah, great talking to you guys.
All right,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
having us on. Appreciate
All right,
it.
guys.
See you, Matt.
Take care, guys. All right, see you guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye bye.